Hello, Muscatine, and welcome to Muscatine in Focus. I'm the host, Brad Bark, the mayor of Muscatine. And first of all, I hope everybody was safe and enjoyed the 4th of July this past weekend. And, I was part of the parade, and I've heard many positive comments on the fireworks. So we just thank you so much, the thousands of people that were at the parade, and also the fireworks that night as well. And I know at 9 o'clock in the morning there was a kids parade too, which was extremely popular. So thank you to all that have been part of that as well. And today we have Chris Jasper that's going to be talking about emergency management. Now, I've known Chris for some time, but just want to thank you for being on the show, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so obviously I've already said your name, but if you could just tell us about, who you are, where are you from?
So I'm originally from the Quad Cities. Let me backtrack. So I'm Chris Jasper, the Director of Emergency Management and Emergency Communications for Muscatine County. I oversee emergency management as well as emergency communications, which includes the 911 center, all the computers, radios, all that fun stuff in squad cars and fire trucks around the county. And I also oversee the Muscatine Search and Rescue Unit, which is a group of volunteers that do water rescues and that kind of stuff for us. Originally from the Quad Cities, moved to Chicago to become a paramedic. Did that for a little while in Chicago and moved back closer to home. Had an opening here in Muscatine, and here I am.
Nice. Well, we're glad to have you. I know you have several hats now. So
I
talk
do.
to us about your different titles, if you may.
So emergency management is really, there's 4 phases of emergency management. It's mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery to disasters or emergencies within the county. So I get to do all the plans for if we have a disaster or an emergency, a tornado, a large hazmat leak, those sort of fun events. And if we have a disaster, then coordinate all the response for that, getting basically logistics. So if the first responders need water or food, or if they're going to be there for an extended amount of time, all those sorts of fun stuff behind the scenes. Emergency communications, like I said, I oversee the 911 center here in Muscatine County, which is in the basement of the public safety building. We have a great group of individuals answering 911 for the community every day, 24 hours a day, obviously there. And then with that, I also oversee all the radio system for the county. We have 6 radio tower sites within the county, as well as 2 on the Illinois side of the river. And the large IT network for all the computers and all the first responder vehicles.
I was going to say the people down in I think you guys called it the bunker or something. It's down in the basement, but wonderful people. I mean, they're the first in line to basically either push towards the PD or towards the emergency management protocol. So what is the process? When someone calls in, they take the call and then they determine, probably have like a checklist of what's going on?
Yep, so we have questions that we ask. So on a 911 call, the very first thing that we ask is their location, so that we answer the phone, 911, what's the address of your emergency or location of your emergency. Obviously, if we don't know where you are, we can't send help. I can tell you it doesn't always work like it does on TV. The TV shows show all these fancy maps. We have maps, but technology, sometimes is tricky, so it doesn't work exactly like it does on TV. But we do have capabilities to find people's locations. The next thing they ask is for a callback number, for a phone number, in case the phone somehow gets disconnected. We can call them back and get more information. And then the next thing is tell me exactly what happened, so what's going on there. Based on that, they go into a different series of questions for law enforcement, fire, ambulance response.
Very good, very good. That's quite a bit of information that they have to take out.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
So what else do you do on a day-to-day basis as the manager?
That's a good question.
Well, I know it's quite a bit, but
it's funny because I wake up in the morning and I never know what my day holds.
never the same day, I'm guessing. Right?
I could be sitting in my office reviewing, emergency response plans. We call them ESFs for different departments within the county that may have to respond to a disaster. Or I could be, yesterday I was out in West Liberty trying to fix a generator at one of our tower sites because we were having an issue. So I just never know. And this morning I was dispatching. So I just never know. I'm all over the place.
Literally. So storms. let's talk about storms. I know that many people have probably talked about storms, and there you go.
Here we go. So, I'll tell you, sirens and storms are always the biggest questions that I'm asked by citizens. And so this little graphic here that we have up is to know the difference between a watch and a warning. Obviously, a watch is, the potential is there. I have another emergency management friend who analyzes this like he's making tacos. And so he always says the watch is you have all the ingredients to make the tacos. The warning is when the tacos are actually made. So a watch is all the fun stuff is there, potential for a storm, and a warning is it's coming.
Gotcha. So when they say tornado warning, obviously, or a thunderstorm warning, it's happening.
Yep.
It's there.
Yep. It's either a trained spotter has seen it or they see it on radar.
Gotcha.
And there's the same for a tornado.
So the different sounds, would you be able to go through? And if you want to actually make the noise too, you can.
No. So the graphic that was just up there.
Yes.
I'll talk about this because I think that this is something that is kind of confusing to a lot of folks. So another question that I'm always asked is, well, we had a severe thunderstorm warning. How come the sirens didn't go off? Well, there's two different sets of criteria. So here on the side, you can see the National Weather Service severe thunderstorm warning criteria is potential for winds 58 miles per hour or higher, or 1 inch or greater hail. That's their criteria that they will issue a severe thunderstorm warning, which is different than what the county siren criteria is, which is 70-mile-an-hour winds or golf ball or larger hail. So it is possible for us to have a severe thunderstorm warning that the National Weather Service has issued without the outdoor weather sirens going off. That is possible. That's another thing that I think is kind of confusing to some folks.
So what's the severe thunderstorm warning? Is that just a straight sound, or is it the one?
All the sounds are the same. Nope, they're all the same. Yep,
okay.
they're all the same. They're all the same. All
compared
the
to a
sirens.
tornado one.
Yep.
Okay.
They're all the same.
I did not know that.
Yep. Sometimes it'll sound different because of the way they rotate.
Sure.
It'll
I
sound
gotcha.
a little choppier depending on which way the wind's blowing too.
See, I just learned something today.
See?
Yeah. So you have storms, and what else do you work on a day-to-day basis?
So like
I was gonna say, talk like the river rescue.
okay,
Can you talk about that a little
Yep.
bit too?
So Muscatine Search and Rescue, like I said, is a group of volunteers. They volunteer to go out and if we have a water emergency on the river, they could tow a boat back to shore if it runs out of gas or the motor breaks, or if we have an accident on the river, they'll respond. Again, they're a group of volunteers. They're a nonprofit organization, so I kind of just oversee them in their county liaison, as well as emergency management provides 3 boats for them to utilize. So they're a great group of dedicated folks that are always there when we need them. They were out on the river for the 4th, patrolling to make sure that people stayed away from the fireworks. Again, always volunteering their time. So thank you to them. They're great folks.
Yeah, most definitely. So what other towns, cities do you work with?
I work with the entire county. So Wilton, West Liberty, Stockton, Conesville, Fruitland, all of them. I get to.
So does each one of them have an actual siren in their community as well then?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
Speaking of that, if you're curious as to where the sirens are, you can actually go to the county website, and if you click on departments and emergency management, there's actually our folks over at Magic have created a map of all the siren locations. So just in case anybody's interested in seeing that, or maybe you didn't hear a siren very well and thought, well, I wonder where it's at. You can take a look at that map. It's got them all pinpointed across the county where they are.
So you're definitely the guy that if all of a sudden
I don't know about that,
but yeah, I mean, but you're in charge of all the emergency management, protocols. So just talk to me about, like, if all of a sudden, we have a flood, like from 2019, what are some things that you would be doing to kind of help out with that? Is it, helping organize sandbags or?
Yep, so I'd obviously work with Public Works to get sandbags if we need some barriers. everything from basically if we run out of resources here at a local level, then I can reach out to the state, and all those requests have to go through me. You as the mayor, if we had a flood, wouldn't be able to just call up the state Department of Emergency Management and Homeland Security and be like, hey, we need this. That's all got to get filtered. They'll tell you to call me.
Okay.
That all gets to get filtered through me. In the event that we have to declare a disaster because of whatever, that would also go through me, and I would filter it up to the governor's office for them ultimately then to make a decision on whether the county gets declared a disaster.
So the National Weather Service. So I mean, you guys do watch the National Weather Service as well, but that's totally separate compared to the county criteria that is utilized.
Well, so when we set off the sirens, we go based off of information that we receive from the Weather Service. So
Okay.
as they're sending out a warning, they're sending it out to everybody's phone, the great apps that everybody has on their phones now. And at the same time, they're sending it to us at the dispatch center. We look at that criteria and see, does it meet the 70-mile-an-hour winds? Does it meet golf ball or larger size hail? And if so, then the dispatchers activate the sirens. So everything, again, that's another question that I get asked. It's not just dispatchers sitting in the basement. Oh, I'm going to set them off today. I'm not. We go based off of the information and criteria that we get from the National Weather Service. So yes, we have a direct, we call it the bat phone. We have a phone that sits on the desk. You pick it up and it's a direct dial straight to the National Weather Service. We also, dispatchers could have the National Weather Service chat up to be chatting with them online. So during severe weather, we work with them hand in hand.
So if anybody wants information too, and I know that there was just a slide up there about, because when like yesterday, with that thunderstorm that came through, I mean, I think I had like 5 different text messages from my apps, right? But what are some of the go-to apps that you would recommend to, at least to sign up? I mean, obviously there's a go-to one that you...
So I will tell you, the biggest one that I recommend is our Alert Iowa, which is what the county uses. It's our mass notification system.
Okay.
It's actually through the state. It's a contract that the state acquired, but counties get to use it. So
Here it is.
there it is. So down at the bottom, you'll see it says text Muscatine IA to 67283. That will sign you up for the SMS messages.
Mm-hmm.
However, I recommend that you go, if you go to the county website in emergency management, you can click on Alert Iowa and it'll take you to a web page to sign up. That way you can sign up for particular lists. So say you live in West Liberty and you just want to get alerts for West Liberty, you could sign up that way just for West Liberty alerts or Muscatine alerts. Maybe you don't want blizzard warning, so you'll uncheck that box. If you sign up via text message, you're going to get everything. If you want to select what you want and don't want, you need to create an account.
Gotcha. So when a severe thunderstorm does come into Muscatine, power lines are down, trees are down. I'm sure you get a bunch of calls with that. So do you send people out to like assess it, or does like MPW come in to look at the trees at the same time? Do you have to call out to them, or do they already know?
A lot of times people will call MPW at the same time they're calling us.
Okay.
But we will send officers out, and if streets are blocked, they'll direct traffic, and we'll call out Public Works. I know a couple weeks ago I was out blocking off streets myself and my EMA truck because we had so many trees down. And then Public Works came out with tractors and got them all moved off the roadways for that night. But yeah, it's coordination between all of our departments working together, and that's what's great about my job. You know, we have not only public safety folks in this county that are amazing, but Public Works, MPW, everybody in this county is so great to work with. So
Teamwork approach, isn't it?
Yes, it makes my job wonderful.
Well, I was going to say, job is most definitely wonderful, and we're definitely blessed to have you at your position, but it's like weather itself is unpredictable. You know, I'm going to go into it. Last night, they were saying, my phone is blowing up derecho, but it totally broke up right before it got into Muscatine. I mean, I'm sure your phone is probably blowing up too, would you say?
It was.
Yeah.
But I've learned over the years not to get it, I don't want to say excited.
Yeah.
just like the forecast yesterday, all day, that's all you heard, all you heard. Well, I didn't get excited until I thought, okay, I'm going to wait and see when it gets closer, and then
Right.
I'll go from there. And while we did get storms, it wasn't what they got up north, but
Yeah, right. Yeah.
you just never know. And meteorologists are great, but they can't always predict it either. So
That's true.
you just never know.
That's true.
Just
Yeah.
never know. So we have to be prepared
Absolutely.
for it at any time.
Preparation is huge.
It is. It is.
Well, and I know that you guys go through a lot of protocols. There's meetings with, the county and city together, and other cities come in to meet as well, because I'm a part of a couple of those boards as well.
You
and
are.
You guys do a great job with everything. So is there anything else you'd like to share to your audience that, it's just some of those key points that they should know when it comes to anything storm, weather related, things like that? Anything specific?
So sign up for alerts. If the sirens go off, please do not call 911 to ask why. We ask people to tune into the media, the radio, get a weather radio, to get that information. Unfortunately, the 911 center gets inundated with phone calls during storms, so if we can take some of that burden off of them, that's helpful. For the EMA side.
Mm-hmm.
For the 911 side, please don't get frustrated with dispatchers. They ask questions for a reason. At any given time, we have 3 dispatchers sitting in a room. So just because one person's talking to you on the phone and asking you questions doesn't mean that it's delaying the ambulance or officer being sent to you. They're asking questions for a reason. Please just do your best to answer them. Be patient. Help is coming.
And then the last thing, then we'll wrap up, but the last thing would be the first Mondays of every month, there's a test siren.
There is at 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
And it's the policy is actually written non-freezing months. We don't do them during November, December, January, and February, just because if the parts inside the siren are frozen, it can cause some damage. But
Gotcha. Well, it's Iowa.
not to go into those technical things, but
We could have frost tomorrow. Who knows?
that is true. And we've had tornadoes in December, January, I think it was.
And
a
some
couple
of
years
that,
ago.
the thunder snow too, which was pretty
You just
crazy.
never know. It's
Yeah.
great Midwest.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Chris, and thank you so much for everything you do for keeping us safe, and knowing that we can sleep at night and we're in good hands if there were to be something that typically happens at the evening time. So, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And as always, if anybody has any questions over anything I said, over the sirens, storms, 911, any of that stuff, my contact information is on the county website. Please feel free to reach out, email me. I have an open door, so I'm always here.
And a Facebook page too.
And a Facebook page.
yeah,
You're right.
Yep.
The Muscatine County Emergency Management /911 Facebook page. You can send a message there. I'll be happy to get back to you.
Great. Well, thank you so much, and thank you again, everybody here in Muscatine, for watching the show. Again, today was just about putting out facts and everything that happens in our county and our city that keep us safe. So thank you, Muscatine, and just continue watching us, and thank you for everything you do as well. And remember, be your best, and we'll see you next time.